You know, the only thing that can come out of cancer, good thing that can come out of cancer, is money. When it's free money that you're printing, you gotta print it.
Oh, is that right? Well, I sure hope somebody picks up that phone, because I f***ing called it!
Somebody better pick up the phone because I fucking called it. About a week ago, I posted a video regarding the Boogie 2988 little scam he did, where he pretty much promoted a crypto coin called Fatty Coin, and he was paid $10,000 to do it. And a shit ton of people, a shit ton of the last remaining fans of his lost pretty much a shit ton of money. And for $10,000, Boogie pretty much just sold whatever last bit of reputation he had left. So why are we talking about Boogie again a week later? Well, when he was being interrogated by CoffeeZilla about the whole Fatty Coin situation, he brought up a reason as to why he's not going to pay back the victims of the coin, or he's not going to give back the money. One of the reasons why is because he says he has to pay for medical bills. And one of the medical bills he has to pay for is for his cancer. This is a pretty big thing that Boogie's been kind of going on about for like the whole past year. About a year ago, if I remember correctly, he pretty much announced that he was struggling from cancer, and pretty much just like letting the whole internet know, every last bit of his fans know, I have cancer. And he made a whole video about himself having fucking cancer now. So then why is that kind of important right now? Well, in the video I made last week, towards the end, I made a claim where I said I don't believe that Boogie has cancer, and if he did, then good luck to him, right? I'm not the only one with that sentiment. Recently, I believe it was literally pretty much last night or earlier yesterday, Boogie was pretty much interrogated by most of the commentary community, and as well as Destiny, a political streamer, who pretty much just put out the theory out there into the world that Boogie does not have cancer and that he's in fact lying about it. There's kind of a few theories about what Boogie has, if he has cancer or not, or he probably has something and it's just confusing with cancer and it's kind of too late now to say that it's not cancer. But the overall point is Boogie's been kind of LARPing around with the idea that he's has cancer in order to kind of get some sympathy from people, other content creators, and from his last remaining audience members. Now for this whole situation, it's not a big surprise or like a big theory that Boogie is lying about having cancer. It's just everyone, I'm pretty sure everyone kind of had that idea in their head when they heard Boogie had cancer. What was crazy about the situation is that Boogie was put into a corner and pretty much interrogated to where he didn't confess if he had cancer or not. So right now we have to use the word alleged or allegations, but it's just the fact that everything Boogie has been saying so far is very suspicious. Well, it all started with CoffeeZilla kind of talking to Boogie and getting down with the situation about the Fatty Coin scam. In reality, who really shot this off about the whole fake cancer thing was pretty much Turkey Tom and Destiny. Turkey Tom is one of the biggest commentary YouTubers right now. He went on Destiny's live stream and pretty much told Destiny to look into the whole Fatty Coin thing that Boogie was promoting. When Destiny heard that Boogie had cancer and pretty much kind of looked into what kind of cancer Boogie had, Destiny was kind of insinuating the idea that I think what Boogie is lying about having cancer. So then Destiny went on the LOLCal podcast, which is hosted by Keemstar, Boogie, Wings of Redemption, and Tommy C, in which Destiny literally enters the podcast and states that Boogie 2988, we're here to confront you because we believe you're lying about cancer, some shit like that. And literally the whole rest of the podcast after that, it's just Boogie fighting for his life. The motherfucker is like R. Kelly when he was on that 60-minute fucking interview. It was fucking hilarious. And at some point during the fucking podcast, the Boogie strips down and gets naked for some fucking reason. I don't know why. I don't know what the whole purpose of that whole fucking thing was. Watching the episode of the podcast, it makes me think, you know what? Maybe Boogie does have fucking cancer. I mean, have you seen his fucking stomach? Maybe that's not fat. Maybe that's just a giant ass tumor that we're talking about here. Maybe that's the cancer he has. Maybe this is fucking cancer. Who knows? Jokes aside though, Boogie is a piece of shit for pretty much this. I'm for allegedly lying about cancer. We don't really have any concrete evidence that Boogie is lying about cancer. We can only really speculate that he is lying about cancer based off the way he's acting and responding to these kind of allegations. And he was confronted about the whole cancer lying shit, right? He was pretty much just calling everyone a piece of shit, and then he was also doing what Boogie does the most, is being a fucking victim. There's that one point in the podcast episode where he brings up the fact that he was abused by his ex-girlfriend, or like his first ex-girlfriend or some shit.
I told one of these guys this in private. I'm not entirely certain. My very first girlfriend was physically abusive to me. And so as part of my childhood, when we were 16, 17 years old, because she would hit me and stuff, I ended up holding her down. I ended up pinning her against the wall to make her stop hurting me and hurting herself in a period tremendous.
And a person within the podcast episode, Medicure, I think that's how you pronounce his name, he actually has cancer. And apparently he's actually dying from it, from what I understand. I don't want to throw too much out there because I don't really know much about them. but they actually do have cancer, and they confronted Boogie about it. And then Medicare literally comes out with the best response.
And I know as soon as I ever said that, it would mean that people would think I beat women. And so I've held it in.
I literally don't care. Nobody cares about that right now.
Thank you.
Hearing someone to tell Boogie, like, we do not fucking care about something like that, it's just so funny, because this is what Boogie does all the time. If you ever put Boogie in a corner and you ever confront him about anything, what will happen, what he will do most of the time, he will become a victim. Pretty much bring out more shit about his life, which we'll get to in a bit. We'll get to why, like, the whole idea of him, like, revealing more shit about his life and his past is pretty ironic in this situation, but he does that a lot, like his that terrible life, in order to paint himself as like a big victim in other people's eyes, to garner sympathy from others and to kind of like to hide away from the shit that he caused. So when multiple people are confronting Boogie and asking them to pretty much prove that he has cancer, one of the ways they're doing is, oh, show us the medical diagnosis on the app that you have. Boogie for a few good 20 minutes was like acting as if he was struggling with the app or the website in which it shows his diagnosis from the hospital or from his doctor. So Destiny was pretty much telling him to show us that. Boogie would claim that, no, I do not want to reveal my medical history or medical issues onto the internet or whatever. But Destiny then says, well, you don't have to post it. You just have to show a third party. And Boogie can just take a screenshot, redact the information, private information, and send it to that person. Boogie would not do this. Boogie would not, for the love of God, show anything about his diagnosis.
Here's the thing, because I did a stream, because I had people saying, oh, you're faking cancer, Jim. So I showed my diagnosis and stuff like that. I'm going to guess he's working on a system similar to Epic, which most medical people do. You should be able to go right into diagnoses, and it's going to list everything that the doctor's ever said you had.
Yep, I just read it to him.
Okay, and so it lists the cancer there?
Yes.
Okay, so you could screen cap that and just show it. I mean, that's what I did, and then that would be the end of it.
Absolutely. And I made the decision 2 years ago that I would not do that, and I would rather leave the internet than to give the last shred of fucking privacy I have left.
Well, no, and here's the thing. I understand the privacy argument.
I should have never went public with it.
No. Let me finish. I mean, you can redact information. There's no issue with that. But just show. I mean, it literally is just a page that says patient diagnoses, and then it lists what you have. It doesn't tell you who the doctor is. It doesn't tell you what hospital you go to. It literally just says the disease name.
And I won't be doing that.
But I don't understand why not.
Because he doesn't have cancer. He doesn't have cancer.
So in order to entice Boogie to show his medical records, Destiny would offer him $5,000. Now this is important. The money thing in this is going to be very important.
He has polycythemia vera, and he actually has like a doctor confirmation of the blood cancer. I'll throw $5,000 towards his medical treatment. I'll make that personal pledge right now.
Boogie took $10K to scam his audience, and he has the opportunity to get $5,000 to show that he was lying about cancer or not. So what does Boogie do in this case? Boogie rejected the offer. He said no to the $5,000.
No,
Hey, you need the money.
You're not seeing my medical records for 20, not for 50. You're not seeing my medical records.
$5,000.
I said this.
I said this year ago.
I just want people to remember in the future then, when Boogie says, I have to do XYZ scam to raise money because my medical bills are hurting so much, he can speak publicly about his medical issues to scam his fans to raise money, but he can't take $5,000 to privately confirm a diagnosis that he already publicly said he has. Doesn't make any sense, but
even I have a fucking limit.
So Keemstar comes in and throws in $15,000 on top of what Destiny's already offered, which adds up to $20,000. What does Boogie do? He rejects the idea. He keeps saying that this is for his privacy. This is the last piece of privacy that he wants to keep to himself, that he does not want to be out there in the public. Another person comes into the podcast, offers Boogie money for a Disney World trip. Boogie, on top of the $20K that's already being offered to Boogie. All right, keep that in mind. Boogie rejects it. I think Mudahar, somewhere in a gamer, came into the podcast too, and he offered $50,000 to Boogie on top of all the other offers Boogie was getting. I'm pretty sure it added up to $80K. And what does Boogie do? Boogie rejects it. He rejects all these offers, which is weird and sketchy as fuck. Boogie has been constantly talking about how he's struggling to get for his mortgage. He's struggling for these payment bills or whatever. And it's just ridiculous. Like, he's not willing to take $80,000 in order to show his medical records, right? And the reason why he doesn't want to show his medical records is because he doesn't have cancer. Now, I feel like I do have to say that there are certain theories going around what Boogie has, or if he has something or not. I think Destiny is the one who kind of throws out the idea that Boogie might have what he's saying he has. I can't pronounce the fucking disease for it, or whatever it is that Boogie has, but essentially it's that Boogie was told that he has something, and then Boogie kind of thought he had something else, because these both diseases are kind of like similar, but one will lead to the other, or one will lead to cancer if not treated properly, or if you're not taking care of yourself properly. Me personally, I'm subscribed to the idea that Boogie is just lying. He's a fucking lying piece of shit. I think he just says that in order to garner sympathy. This is what Boogie does. He's always painting himself as a victim, as some sort of person that the world keeps throwing out or people keep shitting on. Boogie's whole argument for why he doesn't want to show his medical records is that he wants to keep it private because he feels this is the last thing about his life that is private. In my opinion, if you don't want to show your medical records, I think you have the right not to show them. But in Boogie's case, the situation is kind of unique because Boogie is garnering sympathy from his audience and from other people, or he's attempting to do that through his whole cancer. The fact that you're using cancer and you're using that to have sympathy or to have people come up give you money or whatnot, they have the right or they deserve to know whether or not you are lying. Boogie is using this cancer situation in order to get sympathy, to get money. That's what he's doing. He was confronted by CoffeeZilla again about the whole cancer treatment and the whole medical plans or medical payments. Boogie would say that, oh, he would also need the money for pretty much a mortgage, and that how the local podcast will not be paying him. So this enticed CoffeeZilla in order to confront Keemstar and ask him directly, hey, Boogie told me that local podcast, or you essentially, are not paying him enough for his mortgage. Which I think in the same episode of the podcast which Boogie was confronted, Keemstar would pretty much ask Boogie like, what the fuck why is CoffeeZilla coming to me, right?
I couldn't wrap my head around how much I've helped Boogie. And the fact that this show is literally paying his mortgage, and he lied to CoffeeZilla saying he couldn't refund that 10 grand because he had to pay a mortgage and he makes no money from local life. I couldn't wrap that around my fucking head. So I asked him about it. I said, why'd you say that to CoffeeZilla? And you know what Boogie told me? He goes, oh, well, I didn't think we were getting paid this month because we had to pay for the trip. I'm sorry. Since when is a fucking flight for two fat fucks for wherever the fuck you live to here $10,000? $10,000. Did you rent the whole front of the fucking plane? What are you talking about? 10,000, more like 20,000. You know what I mean? There's no money for an entire month because you guys took a travel trip. Are you fucking insane? Do you know how fucking insane that is? Just the lies just never stop with this fucker. Just never stop.
I think it would have Keemstar even like yell at him, saying like, how expensive was your fucking flight? Like, there's no way that you cannot afford a flight and then afford to pay your mortgage off, which I don't think it's that crazy, not because of the expenses or how expensive things are nowadays, but I think it's just because he's so stupid when it comes to his finances. In the Boogie documentary, it would explain all the expenses that Boogie has, and a lot of it was just useless as shit. Yeah, but back to the whole privacy thing that Boogie keeps using as an argument as to why he doesn't want to show his medical records. I think it's pretty ridiculous because Boogie doesn't care about privacy at all. He puts his whole life on blast for the internet to see. This whole cancer thing, he went to Twitter and fucking announced it. Then he made a video about it. Like, what the fuck? He keeps announcing all of his fucking like lore, his fucking history. You're telling me now you care about having your privacy? We're not stupid. None of us are stupid, Boogie. Stop using this weird manipulative tactics in order to get your way. It's not gonna work this time. He literally participated in a documentary about him, and they revealed all this terrible shit about Boogie. Pretty much they explained how he would tens of thousands of dollars on hookers or whatever. He would explain how he was like how much money he would spend on these random shit, how he was struggling. He had him and his girlfriend pretty much almost naked in a fucking bubble bath playing around for the documentary. Like, he's exposed his skin, he exposed his fucking girlfriend to the internet too. It's hard to feel sympathy for Boogie when he's putting himself in these kind of situations, and also the fact that he's just a shitty person. That's really it. He's just a genuine shitty person. When we see a shitty person on the internet, it's we kind of imagine people like Sneeko or Circa, right? Very loudmouth individuals who are constantly announcing or shaming everyone else. Boogie is a scammer, but he's also kind of a different type of shitty person. He's somebody who's always constantly pointing the finger at somebody else, always avoiding accountability for the actions he causes or for the things he does. No matter what, he's never going to accept responsibility or accountability towards himself, because in the end, Boogie is a narcissist. For some fucking reason, that fat fuck views himself as like the best person, as a victim, someone better than everyone else. In his eyes, it's not people are confronting him, it's people that are bullying him. I don't think he's going to see this video, but if he sees it, he's probably going to think that I'm just fucking bullying him, shitting on him. Which partially I am, but it's because he kind of deserves it. He needs to be put in his place. Someone needs to kind of like give him a wake-up call. But I don't think he's ever going to get that wake-up call, not because someone's not willing to give it to him, but it's just because he's never going to open his eyes and see himself for the shitty person that he truly is. Boogie always has been this person that's just low-hanging fruit, almost as low as his fucking belly fat that's always hanging. It was always fun to poke at him, fun to laugh at him. The problem here now is that he's faking having cancer, this legitimate disease that kills thousands of people every year. And it's not like some sort of insta-kill kind of thing, right? People struggle with this for years of their life, and sometimes they don't make it. And to use the idea of having cancer, garner sympathy, and to get money out of your audience, And to get out of a sticky situation that you put yourself in, holy cow, dude. Like, I'm not a very religious person, but this man is going to hell. he's legitimately going to go to hell. And it's just, I feel like he's reaching near the bottom. Every time I think he hits a bottom, he keeps going down, down, down. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to recover from this situation because so many people are shitting on him for it. There's like no forgiveness for this kind of thing he's done this time. And I don't personally believe he deserves forgiveness because he's not sorry about anything. He's not sorry about any of this. It's not like he doesn't have chances to make money. One of the biggest critiques that people have with Boogie is that he doesn't utilize the tools that he has. He has a YouTube channel that still gets a good amount of views. And with that YouTube channel, he will be able to actually survive off it or off the revenue from the channel. But he doesn't do it. He doesn't post content. He doesn't really post anything interesting. It's always just making fun of himself and always feeling bad about himself. But let's imagine the Locale podcast does it. I hope it doesn't end. I hope it strives and succeeds. But let's say it does end and it failed. What does Boogie have? Already before the Locale podcast, he was already struggling. He's still struggling now. He was already struggling with payments and money and already with his channel. We learned from the documentary, Boogie has no good working skill. He can't move properly. He's very prone to injury. According to him, if you look him up, you're going to see rumors about domestic violence and pedophilia. He has no good work ethic. He's a compulsive liar, a manipulator. He has no good skills at all. The only reason why he's still around is because people genuinely just like to laugh. I don't know how he can live that life, and it's super sad. Recently, Keemstar came out with a tweet saying that Boogie is not suicidal. When I first heard that, I was like, holy shit, like, did Boogie threaten to kill himself again? For those of you who don't know, I brought this up in the previous video I did about Boogie. Boogie has used the threat of killing himself with multiple content creators. He did this with Turkey Tom, with Keemstar, and fucking iDubbbz. He's threatened to kill himself multiple times because they made videos about him where they said some shit about him. Guess what? Boogie has never gone through with said threats. Now, I think we should take every kind of threat, notion of suicidal tendencies or any kind of suicidal thoughts seriously. But the thing about Boogie is like, it's kind of going to end up as one day as a boy who cries wolf. He's going to keep using the same threat again and again until nobody's going to give a fuck. And then maybe one day he will do it. It's a very dangerous thing. I don't want Boogie to die personally. I would like him to stick around. The thing is, like, Boogie doesn't really have any other roads to sustaining himself, and he has a chance, right? He could definitely work on himself. He could definitely pretty much change his life and pretty much get an actual job that would be actually good for him. The problem is, it's just his mindset. The fact that he's always painting himself as a victim indicates that he's always sees himself as the victim, not as the culprit for the situation he's in. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about this fat fuck. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have cancer. I'm 99.99% sure he doesn't have it. I do think he does have some sort of health condition, but I don't think it's cancer or as serious as he's saying it is. But regardless, I hope things work out for him. I do hope things turn around for him one day and he kind of turns his life around for the little life he has left. Yeah, that's about it. See ya.
Actually, Guitar Guy has joined us, and I wrote some lyrics, and I hope you enjoy, okay? Yeah. Well, my dad is dead. Yeah, my dad died. He had lung cancer and it made him die. And thanks to God's mercy, he drowned in his own blood. He drowned in his own blood. He drowned in his own blood. Yeah, dad died and he drowned in his own blood. He drowned in his own blood. He drowned in his own blood. Jesus loved him, so he drowned in his own blood. He drowned in his own blood. He drowned in his own blood. It sucked.